So it's now 6 a.m. on Wednesday the 16th of July. We've just left our mooring at Millhouse Farm, and we've set off down the River Bure towards Great Yarmouth. We need to get there. I was phoned the yacht station yesterday. We need to get there just after 8 o'clock to catch low tide rather than slack water. As we need a bit more bridge height. We're 8'4" in this boat. The rain seems to have cleared, and we have some lovely early morning sunshine. And Lou is making breakfast.
Have you seen that toy toaster?
Look at the toy toaster. Breads don't fit. The bread doesn't fit in it very well. So we've just arrived at Stokesby. This is where the Ferry Inn is, where we ate on Sunday night. Absolutely gorgeous cruising along at this time of day when the sun's out. Just about to transit Stracy Arms Mill. You can see there's a lot of mooring spaces, but unfortunately they're all closed at the moment. The owner of the mill decided that they don't want to have people mooring here anymore. It used to have a petting farm as well there, and a little cafe, but all that's closed down. And this used to be the last safe mooring spot before Great Yarmouth. Just the other side of the mill you can see the A47 Acle Strait, which goes between Acle and Great Yarmouth. Very, very busy on a weekday morning. Well, we're just coming into Yarmouth. On our left hand side is Great Yarmouth Yacht Station. There's currently nearly nearly 10 feet of clearance under the bridges ahead, so it should be plenty for us. It's a busy time of day for it, because there's to be a lot of boats coming in both directions. Bridge height marker's reading just over 10 feet. Yacht station itself's just over here on the left. We've arrived at the yacht station exactly 2 minutes after low tide. Dead ahead now is the Acle New Bridge. This is actually the higher of the two bridges by 3 inches. And then straight after the Acle New Road Bridge is Vauxhall Pedestrian Bridge, which used to be a railway line, but it's now just for pedestrians. As I say, this one's 3 inches lower than the last one, but we still got over 10 feet of clearance, so it gives us about 18 inches of free space above our boat. So we're now just approaching the confluence of the River Bure and the River Yare. This is the end of the River Bure. The yellow post ahead will be turning right just after it. If you go left, which we're not allowed to do, that takes you down through Great Yarmouth and out to the North Sea. But we're going to be turning right at this yellow post, heading up the River Yare. The next bridge you'll see will be the Breydon Bridge. And then we'll enter Breydon Water for the next 3/4 of an hour. Of course, now we've exited the Bure and started heading up the Yare, we're actually still fighting a ebbing tide, so the engine revs have had to go right up now, whereas before I was near enough on tick over doing 5 miles an hour. Hopefully though, the tide is now changing, so at some point, probably across Breydon, hopefully the tide will then be with us again. It can really open up the throttles because there's no speed limit on Breydon Water, but you've got to keep between these red and green posts. That's the marked channel. Here to either side is mud banks. Crossing Breydon Water. See the marked channels we've got to follow, because over to our right, quite close to mud banks. Who's doing the driving again across Breydon Water? So we've now crossed Breydon Water, just coming to the end of it, and up ahead is where the River Waveney and the River Yare meet. And you can see all the green and red markers which you've got to keep between, and then right in the centre you'll see a yellow post. And to the left of that you go the River Waveney, and you'll go up towards St Olaf's, Alton Broad and Beccles. And if you keep to the right of the yellow post, you'll take up the Yare towards Norwich, which is the way we're going today. Well, we stopped in Reedham for some provisions. We forgot to buy some chicken for our fajitas, so we've stopped here. Had to pay, unfortunately, to moor up, but lovely little place, very friendly staff on the help you moor up. Well, that was an unsuccessful visit to the local shop. They didn't have any chicken. Oh well, never mind. We think we were going to book into the Lord Nelson pub, or outside the Lord Nelson pub tomorrow night, so we're probably eating there anyway. Just taking a quick walk through the village before the next rain shower. And we're coming out by the ship inn, which is right next to the swing bridge, which we've just come under in the boat.
Some toilets there. Oh, I'd rather use that.
Yeah, it was the recommendation of the key ranger that we book a mooring outside the Lord Nelson rather than using the key ranger's moorings. because the Lord Nelson is £2 cheaper for the night. He shouldn't have told us that, but he did. Well, we've left Reedham, heading towards Bramerton, and we've just arrived at the ferry. Chain ferry, that's right, Reedham ferry, Reedham chain ferry. And it's just docked on the left-hand bank. So we're now travelling upriver from Reedham, and we've arrived at Hardley Mill with some nice moorings there that I think it's a donations box that you pay into. And then in the distance we can see the well-known Cantley sugar beet factory. So, fun police are coming. Moored up at the water's edge at Bramerton. And tonight we have a table booked in the restaurant across the road. Just further down the road is Bramerton Common, which is full up. Here we have the Bramerton Common free moorings. It's a nice quiet little place. Seal and fish and starfish.
Yeah. Yes, most things.